Right now, your brain is making thousands of tiny decisions. Most of them you'll never notice. It's deciding what deserves your attention, what deserves your energy, and what isn't worth either. Here's the strange part. A few weeks ago, you were excited about something. Maybe it was the gym, a language you wanted to learn, a business you kept thinking about, a project you'd been postponing for years. For a while, it felt easy, almost automatic. Then, something shifted. You didn't quit in a single moment. The excitement just quietly disappeared until the thing that once felt electric felt like a burden. So you told yourself the story millions of people tell every day. I just lost motivation. But what if that story is wrong? What if motivation didn't leave because you became lazy, but because your brain did exactly what it was designed to do? If that's true, you've been solving the wrong problem all along. Imagine you were alive 50,000 years ago. No calendars, no deadlines, no gyms, no 5-year plans. Every day had one objective: survive. In that world, motivation wasn't a personality trait. It was an emergency response. Your brain only fired up when something truly mattered. And that's the first clue, because your brain was never designed to keep you inspired. It was designed to keep you alive, while burning as little energy as possible. Think about the last time you discovered a new app. The first few minutes felt electric. You explored every corner. A week later, you barely noticed it existed. The app didn't change. Your brain did, because every new experience begins with one silent question. Is this worth paying attention to? At first, the answer is yes, but with every repetition, your brain becomes more efficient. It learns to predict what comes next, and the better it predicts, the less attention it needs to spend. That's why excitement fades, not because your goal became less important, but because it no longer felt new. For a long time, scientists believed motivation was mainly about reward. Get the reward. Feel motivated. Simple. But that doesn't explain something strange. Why does excitement disappear, even when the reward stays exactly the same? Think about your favorite song. The first time you heard it, every note felt like a discovery. You played it 20 times in a week. But eventually, you stopped really listening. Not because the song got worse, because your brain got better at predicting it. And here's the hidden rule your brain lives by. Attention is expensive. Prediction is cheap. Your brain will always choose prediction over attention. That's why the first day at a new job is exhausting. Every face is unfamiliar. Every decision requires effort. A few months later, you walk through the same building almost automatically, not because you think less, because your brain built a shortcut. The same thing happens with your goals. The excitement at the beginning isn't proof you're becoming a different person. It's the feeling of exploring territory your brain hasn't mapped yet. Once the map is complete, the fuel fades. And this is where most people misunderstand themselves. They think motivation disappeared, so they assume the goal wasn't important enough. But that's like believing a flashlight ran out of batteries. When the sun came up, the light didn't disappear. It just wasn't needed anymore. Now add one more layer. Your brain evolved in a world where novelty was rare. A new place, a new sound in the forest. Those things happened, maybe once a week. Today, before your thumb reaches the bottom of the screen, you've already seen 50 new things. A different face, a different opinion, a different world. And most of the time, it's not even the content keeping you there. It's the possibility that the next one might matter. That uncertainty is one of the strongest magnets for human attention. So your brain keeps checking again and again and again. Not because you're weak, because you're human. But here's the cost. Ordinary life begins to feel strangely quiet. Reading feels slow. Practicing a skill feels heavy. Sitting still feels almost impossible, not because those things lost their value, but because your brain has recalibrated to a pace nothing real can match. It's like trying to enjoy a candle after staring at fireworks for an hour. The candle didn't get dimmer. Your eyes adapted to something brighter. The modern world doesn't steal your motivation. It keeps interrupting the conditions your brain needs to rebuild it. So if motivation naturally fades and the world keeps pulling your attention sideways, is real change even possible? Yes, but not in the way most people think. Most people believe discipline means forcing yourself down the harder road every single day. But that's exhausting, and your brain hates wasting energy. People who build lasting habits do something different. They don't fight the map. They redesign it. They leave the book on the desk. Instead of inside a drawer, they put the phone in another room before bed. They prepare tomorrow's workout clothes the night before, not because they have more willpower, because they understand one thing. Your brain is constantly asking a single silent question. What's the easiest thing to do next? It asks that question hundreds of times a day, and the answer doesn't come from your willpower. It comes from the environment around you. Change the environment, and you quietly change the answer. That's why lasting change rarely feels dramatic. It's not one huge decision. It's thousands of tiny roads, slowly becoming easier than the old ones. Until one day, reading no longer feels like effort. Going for a walk doesn't require a debate. Picking up your phone isn't your first instinct anymore, not because you became a different person overnight, but because your brain finally found a better road. Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up with the same brain you've always had. It will still try to save energy. It will still look for the easiest path. That part won't change. But now you know something most people don't. Every habit you build, every distraction you remove, every environment you shape is quietly laying road for who you'll be in 6 months. Your future isn't built by the decisions you make once. It's built by the roads you travel every day. So the question isn't, how do I stay motivated? The question is, what kind of road am I building today? Build it carefully. See you in the next one.